Good morning, everybody. I hope you are doing well today. I hope you had a good sleep. I hope you have brushed your teeth to start the day off. I stayed up way too late last night doing some recording and kind of planning my day out, what I'm going to achieve today. And then also just kept on going down that Eurorack rabbit hole on YouTube. So, yeah, I just watched a bunch of crazy modulation, different modules, things like that. I have a tendency to get a bit obsessive about things once I get really into it and locked in. So yeah, that's still where I'm at. So anyway, this is a really quick video to do a unboxing. So I mentioned in the last one that I have some stuff on the way, and this is the first part of that. So what I have here is a package from Found Sound, which is a kind of a boutique deluxe music store based in Melbourne. I never actually went in there when I was living down there, which is kind of silly. I had lots of chances and I knew about it. I was in the area all the time. I just never got around to it. But they seem to be one of the few places that I can find in Australia that deal with a lot of Eurorack stuff that you can actually get bits and bobs and modules from. They seem to be pretty hard to come by. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about opening this. So let's have a look and see what's inside. Right, so what we have here inside the package is a TipTop Audio Happy Ending Kit. This is where my modules are going to go. So this is 84 HP, I believe. It'll just be a 1 through row to start with, but let's be real, it's inevitably going to become 2, 3, 4, 5, 1000s. I pretty much want that whole spaceship vibe eventually, but for now, let's start small. So yeah, let's pop her open and see what we've got. Now, I'm pretty excited about this. I did a whole bunch of research on what sort of case to get. Obviously something that was affordable, because they can be pretty overwhelming with Eurorack cases, as I've come to find. There's so many different options that do so many different things, and it can get pretty expensive pretty quickly. So I kind of went the cheaper one with the idea to build a proper case and mount this into it. So just as a starting point, I think this is a pretty good start. So let's have a look and see what's inside the box. So firstly, I have some cables. I ordered these separately. So these are TipTop Audio stackable cables, I think they're called. So need that to patch up your modules. But the cool thing about this, which I've learnt, is that you can plug in multiple, so you can route your patch in different ways. Kind of gives you a bit more different options, a lot more flexibility. So I think that should be pretty handy to start off with. So I got a few different ones in different lengths. So yay, more cables. If you have a home studio, you know how tedious and annoying cables are. So unfortunately, it's just one of those things that you have to deal with. So let's add some more cables into the mix. I mean, my ultimate goal for us as society is to live in a completely wireless world. So Elon Musk, can you get on that? I know that you can do it, so let's just do that. Okay, so they're the cables. Next up, I have the TipTop Audio Uzus flying bus board. So let's have a quick look, open inside. Okay, so here it is. You've got 5 plus, 12 plus, negative 12 voltage. Look, I'm not going to pretend like I know what all that means, but what I've figured out is that you need different power sources for different modules. You can plug up to 10 modules with this thing, so I think that should compensate and cover the amount of stuff that I have coming. So I've actually read a lot of really mixed reviews on this, so I'm interested to see how it goes. From what I gather, it seems to be a lot of bias against different brands, but at the same time, this is like the #1 rated power module on modulargrid.com, which is an awesome site to look at if you're dreaming about Eurorack like I was. So yet again, spent a lot of time on that. My girlfriend was always like, are you building since again? I said, yes, I am. So yeah, I'm pretty interested to see how this one goes. I think it should be fine. What else have we got in here? So we have the power supply that comes with it too. So I think this is maybe where the confusion comes into. So if you're looking into one of these, hopefully this can clear it up for you a little bit, because I had to kind of figure it out. So this one here comes with 1,000 milliamps. Yet again, I'm not an electrical engineer, don't really know much about how electricity works, but essentially what I'm told, I was in direct contact with the guy who runs CalSynth in California. I have a few of their modules on the way, and he recommended that I was to get the Uzus Power Boost pack. So it's essentially going to replace this, and that gives me 3,000 milliamps of power. So he told me that with digital modules, apparently they take up a lot more power than analog, so he recommended to get one of those so I have more than enough power to get everything functioning and working as it should. And also it will give you enough headroom in the power, so you, with this one, maybe you're just kind of cramping it up. I guess that's kind of what I put together from what he told me. So I did end up getting the Uzus Boost, so that's on the way. But for now, I think this should be just fine. So what else have we got in here? Another little package, got some screws. Let's have a look. Yeah, screws. Let's open up this little part. Okay, so this is one of the legs that we can mount it on. I got the silver one. I really wanted the black one, but they didn't have any in stock, and they weren't sure when they were going to get any more. And as I was saying before, there's not a whole bunch of like synth Eurorack stuff that I could find in Australia. So in order to get a black one, I would have had to order it from overseas, which means more postage and wait time. So this was free postage, and he sent it express, so and now I have it, so that's cool. Other side, which I'm assuming is the other one on the same thing. Another little screw in here. And the probably most important part, I would believe, are the rails. So let's have a quick open of this, because I'm not sure if they're slidey ones or if they're fixed hole ones. In my mind, I have a feeling that fixed hole ones might be better, just because they're all kind of set in stone as to where you can kind of plug them in, and they're not really moving around a lot. So, but let's have a look. Oh, there's a lot of plastic on this guy. You know, while I'm on the topic, let's just say to companies, maybe stop using so much plastic. You know, you don't really need plastic. It's already got a cardboard box. Didn't need plastic. So, okay. So it is the fixed one, so that's cool. That kind of slides right in. I'm assuming I'll just screw them down. So obviously you've got two of those, so I can set that up and start building my case and put in some racks. Oh, not racks, some modules. Put in some modules. So yeah, I've got a bunch of modules on the way, but first we can just start off with the power supply. So yeah, I'm gonna try and put this thing together and turn it on, and hopefully we get some kind of flashing lights. I hear that's a good sign. Bit of a visual cue that you're actually getting some power. Okay, here we have it. It's put together. It looks like I expected. Hopefully it works like I expected. It was pretty easy to put together. You pretty much just screw it in, just align the rails, make sure that the divot side is up and upside down on this end, because I did have to turn that around because the module wasn't fitting in. So yeah, it's together. So I guess a few little things that I did to try and make it a bit easier for myself to work with. First thing was, I actually put the module in upside down. And the reason for that is because the flying bus cables, if you put it on the right way around, they're all facing backwards, which is obviously going to make it way more difficult to plug modules into. So if you flip it upside down, that makes these the right way up, and that seemed to make sense to me. Now I should be easily able to plug them in. The other little hack that I did, so these are flying bus boards, so if they're not connected to anything, they're just going to be flipping around all over the place and kind of loose and hanging, and apparently that's annoying. It doesn't seem overly safe to me, just having some random electricity kind of flicking about. So what I did to kind of compensate that is that, if you can see there, I just have these silicone hair ties, essentially is all that they are. I guess any hair tie would work. So I kind of just looped it around here and then looped it onto each ends, and now they're in there pretty sturdy. I mean, once the modules are in, they're not going to move around so much, but yeah, that kind of worked out pretty well, and I kind of solved that problem of things kind of just moving about. So yeah, that should be cool. Hopefully that works out. So look, I'm pretty happy with this so far. Can't wait to plug something in and get some sound happening out of this. As I said in the last video, this is inevitably not going to be the end of this. I assume that I'm probably going to get a couple more of these over time and just build them into a proper rack. But for now, I think this is a pretty good place to start, considering how affordable it is compared to some of the other stuff that is available. I will just give a quick mention to the other alternative that I was looking at, which is called it's by a company called Create Audio. I'm not really sure where they're based. Maybe they're American. And there's a thing called the Nifty case, and there's another version of it called a Nifty box case, and that is essentially the same size. I think it's 84 HP. But the cool thing about that is the box itself comes with MIDI ins and outs. It has some other channels on the top, so you can send CV signals and things like that, and they're super cheap for what I could see in the market as something to kind of get you started off in this kind of thing. The only reason why I didn't end up going with that one is because of my Model D, because this already has all the MIDI ins and outs, and it's got the main output, and it has the USB connection, so I can just go straight through and sync that up to Ableton. I didn't need all those channels, but if I didn't have this and just wanted a standalone Eurorack case, that's probably what I would have got. And they're super cheap for what they are. There's another version of it which actually comes with 2 modules in already, and the whole package is really cheap, so it was really tempting, but because of this I didn't really need it. So yeah, I mean, I guess let's plug it in, right? Let's see if we have some power, because that would be nice. Bit of power. So I'm told that if you see some flashing lights when you plug something in, then that's generally a good sign. So I can probably see some truth to that. So let's go. I've got it switched off at the moment. Plug it in. Switched on, and voila. Some lights. It's working. I've got power. That's cool. Now to begin. I'm so excited. On that note, when I was actually putting this together, I got a knock at the door from the postman with this little circular thing. I'm not actually sure what this is, so let's quickly open it up and have a look. Hopefully it's a module. Could really be anything. I've got a few different things on order at the moment, so well, you look at that, it is a module. Excellent. So now I have my first module to put in. So what's this? Oh, okay. Very cool. So I'll go into this a bit more in depth once I get everything set up, but this is the SBG something circuit. Oh, ALM busy circuit. So the reason why I have this is because you can easily pass through guitar pedals through this thing. So that is how I'm going to get my guitar pedals as part of my modular system. And yeah, it's got mixing in and out, dry, wet signal there as well. Oh, the other cool thing about this is it has a function for an expression pedal. So if you have any guitar pedals that have an expression pedal input, like the Odd Blood Noise Endeavor flat light that I have. Sorry, my dog's just kind of jumping around. Hey, Chima. Yeah, then that can automatically control the expression pedal input. So that's going to be really fun to play around with. So yeah, I got this from the same people that I got this from. So Found Sound in Melbourne. If you're based in Australia, maybe check them out because they have a pretty good range. Free shipping if you spend over $200. So that's good because, you know, last thing you want is to buy a module or something and then the shipping just costs just as much. So yeah, I'm going to get this guy plugged in, and then once everything else arrives, we will go through. But yeah, that's really cool. First module, exciting. Yeah, so for the rest of the day, I'm going to start recording a song. So I'm going to go through all that with you as well. Kind of, you can see how I'm setting up microphones, what sort of pedals and sounds I'm using, how I'm kind of isolating things. And yeah, hopefully throughout the whole video, I might do it in sections, I'm not sure yet. I'll just go through how I record a whole song and kind of get to that final point. So stay tuned for that, I guess, if that sounds interesting.